Hi, I'm Lisa Bradshaw. Thanks for joining me on the show. As I said, we were recording the shows via Zoom from my home. We're hunkered down here, as many of us throughout the world are today. And I am just looking for stories and interviews with people in place of the Don't Wait Project tour that was underway for next week and is canceled for now. And there's a gentleman that I have been following for quite some time. I'm sure you're familiar with him. He is the host of the show, The Kindness Diaries, Leon Logothetis. He's always in search of kindness. He's traveled the globe, and we have him here today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
So I wanted to just give you a chance to kind of explain how you got to where you are. I've followed you. I've read about you. I know you left your broker job in London and went in search of adventure. And in that time, you found all of this way of spreading kindness.
Yeah, well, I as you mentioned, I used to be a broker in London. And on the outside, I pretty much had everything you would want. But emotionally, I was totally broken. But no one knew because I was wearing a mask. And that mask was like, oh, everything's fine. But it wasn't. And I believe many of us can relate to that. I was watching a movie called The Motorcycle Diaries, which is a romanticized version of Che Guevara traveling around South America relying on kindness. And there was something about that movie that just touched my heart in such a beautiful way. And I realized there was more to my life. There was another way to live. So to cut a long story short, I ended up quitting my job and started to travel around the world, connecting with humanity.
And you took that, what my understanding of your story is, you basically relied on the kindness of others. I've watched episodes of your show, and along the way, you're giving these gifts back to people. Was it what you had in mind when you started out, or did it evolve into something? I imagine it's bigger than you even could have imagined it to be.
Look, when I first started, I didn't really know what I was doing, right? I was in so much emotional pain that I was kind of forced to go out into the world, and my medicine was connecting with humanity. So I didn't know there was going to be a Netflix show. I didn't know there were going to be books. I just knew that I needed to get better. And some subconscious part of me knew that the way to get better was to connect with other human beings. So it was,
that.
Yeah.
It is when we shift our focus away from ourselves. When I started hosting a radio show many years ago and shifted the focus from being widowed and sad and broken, as you explained about yourself, healing happened when I started sharing other people's stories and empathizing with the plight of others. And so at what point in your journey did you start to feel healed?
That's a great question. I mean, I'm not sure I'm fully healed. Yeah, I don't believe we ever get fully healed unless you're a guru sitting on a mountaintop. Yeah, there's always some pain that we feel. Yeah, but I think I can't remember the exact moment, but I remember the exact kind of thought process. It was when I started to realize that my journeys couldn't just be for me, that I couldn't just get on a plane and go around the world and have all these amazing adventures unless other people got some benefit from it. And that's when I really started concentrating on doing the speeches, the books, and the Netflix show. It was like, there's no point in me just traveling by myself to become better. I now have to travel for others too. And the way to do that is to share it with them through the media.
And that's what happens is, I think, when people ask me, what's your goal in your career? And I would say an audience. And the audience isn't from selfishness. It's the more people who hear the stories I'm trying to tell, the more people we can reach. And the more people hopefully begin to heal their own lives. When you said that going out is a way of kind of a therapeutic way of starting to heal yourself. And here we are hunkered down. We can't go anywhere. And how is that affecting you? Because you're a very social, travel the world, impact others. And I'm sure you rely on that give and take in your own life on a daily basis.
Look, we're all fortunate in many ways because we have the internet these days. So even though you're in Washington and I'm in LA, here we are having this conversation and I feel better. I hope you feel better.
I do.
So we can do this all day. The only thing is, let's pray the internet doesn't break, because if it does, then we're all in a bit of a pickle.
I saw your post recently, and that's when I reached out to you about doing my show, about just, you were, did a live video just asking people to reach out and say how they're feeling and share their thoughts. And what is the feedback you received? And what is the, I don't want the word trend, but what is the most common feedback you received from that cry out or that call out?
People are in fear. And this is our moment to be our best selves. I'm not telling you that fear isn't real, but what I'm saying is do not, under any circumstances, let the fear infect you. Don't let fear take you down. And if you can do that now, imagine when this crisis is over, how much of a better human being you will be. Because when you were locked down in your house and the world's falling apart, you didn't let fear take over. And then when you go back to everyday life, it'll be so much easier not to let fear take over.
I think that we are who we are times 10 is what I've always said.
Yes.
If we're a giver, we will give in this time, we will share in this time, we will reach out in this time. If we are takers, we are robbing the stores of toilet paper right now. I mean, that's who we are. We're one or the other. We can't be both. And what I'm finding, and maybe you are too, is it's the, you know, the Mr. Rogers quote about finding the helpers, that his mom always said to find the helpers. And so what is your plan when this is over, or what are your thoughts when this is over about the storytelling you want to do? More of the same? Will it change at all? Just be out there doing the work you've always been doing?
Exactly. It's really about finding our humanity again. And maybe this is one way for us to do that. Maybe we needed a wake-up call of some sort to find our humanity again. Enough of the news, you know, talking about all the negative things that are going on. Enough of our leaders behaving like children. You know, I speak at schools, and sometimes the children are more adults than the adults. And I turn on the news and I see people, adults leading our countries, behaving like children. I'm like, you know, enough. Wake up.
It is always a fascinating thing to watch, whether it's on a small scale, a personal scale, or now this global scale, to see how we respond to conflict and to see if we get the wake-up call. It's always good when we wake up, when there's a wake-up call. I not all wake up at once, but you know, I've been through some things in my life where I'm in the trenches and life is marching on. And this is the first time that any of us have experienced everyone going through the same thing at once. So you're right. If we all rise at the same time, it'll be amazing.
Yes, it will.
I thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much, and good luck.
Yes, definitely. Everyone who's looking for something to watch right now on Netflix, The Kindness Diaries, I highly, highly encourage you to watch and learn more about this wonderful, kind man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Lisa Bradshaw, recording the show from my home during this time of self-quarantine and social distancing. And I'm talking with my friend Bonnie, who is in the Boston area. She is part of the upcoming, soon to be rescheduled, we hope, Don't Wait Project Tour. And I don't want to give too much of your story away, Bonnie, but you are a fitness guru, and I follow you on Facebook, and you have some fun ideas to help keep people you call it, from gaining the Corona 15, kind of like the college 15. I just wanted to see if we could give our audience some tips for kind of trying to figure out what the routine is, you know? I was really into kickboxing. I went 4 days a week at least, and now like I haven't exercised in 3 days. How can you help us?
So I think everyone's daily routine and structure has been completely overturned. And we're all trying to figure out what's the new normal and how we can maintain our healthy lifestyle without having the gyms open and without the kids being at school and everything like that. So first and foremost, it's important to just stay moving. And because the gyms are closed, I talk about just getting outside. And if you don't have a treadmill at home, do some walk jog intervals around the block, you know, run 2 mailboxes and walk 4 mailboxes, and do that for 15 minutes. And then, you know, a few days later, build on that and maybe do that for 20 minutes or 25 minutes, something like that. So staying active is very, very important. Also, the mental benefits of just being outside, getting fresh air, and moving your body. In addition to getting outside, there are so many online options for workout classes now. I'm seeing
a lot of paid ones are doing free. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't
move in all kinds of things.
I haven't checked it out personally, but I did see that Beachbody is offering 2 months free. I think 2 months or
2 weeks. I think
2 weeks. 2 weeks. And Peloton was offering some classes. A lot of yoga studios are recording. So there are a lot of online options for people to stay active.
The other thing too I wanted to talk about, I work from home, or I work at an office downtown, and I practice and utilize intermittent fasting a lot. And I'm used to working at home and getting busy and not snacking and not, you know, I would be at my goal weight if I didn't eat past 7 p.m. period. I do eat well until 7 p.m. In general. But what I find is that now that I'm home and I'm out of the routine, it's like this license to eat what's in there. And we have a surplus of food, not a surplus. I mean, we didn't go out and like rob the shelves or anything as what's happening, but I definitely have more food around the house because my son is home from college, and we kind of go bare bones when he's not here, because if it's not there, you won't eat it. So what's your tips for staying out of the pantry, for sure? Because that's where all the calories we probably don't are. Right. So what's your trick for that?
I think the food is a big thing right now because, like I said, we're out of our routine. And for most people that aren't used to working at home, we're completely out of our structure. In addition, you have added stress if you have children that are not in school. So I always like to say to people, you are going to eat a meal and then you're done. So if you eat a meal and fill yourself up with nutrient-dense food, and a meal is a combination of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. It's a balanced meal. You're going to eat and then you're done. And that's funny, right? I think what happens for most people, they don't eat meals, and it's this constant grazing of foods that aren't going to fill you up, like crackers and cheese. It's not going to fill you up. So you're doing yourself a big disservice by grazing on junk all day. And the more junk you want, the more junk you eat, the more junk you want. It's kind of like a downward spiral. And the other thing that's very important to help you stay out of the pantry is to stay hydrated, to drink plenty of water. People should be drinking half of their body weight in ounces. And when you drink water and hydrate yourself, it will curb your appetite and overall make you crave healthier foods.
And it's important right now too, because hydration is part of your immune system. So we all want to keep our immune system strong. One thing that I find that I do sometimes is, like, say I just made a bunch of homemade salsa, and it's fine to have salsa with a few chips, right? But sometimes I'll have this and this and this, trying to avoid having what I really want. And I've found lately, if I just have what it is I want, then because I end up having what I want anyway. I have all these things trying to avoid the thing I think I shouldn't have. And then I end up having those 3 things plus the thing I wanted in the first place. So I think as long as we kind of just start to be aware of what we're eating and why we're eating it, because for me, I mean, I'm a stress eater, I'm a depressed eater, I'm a, you know, that's my MO, but mostly it's just, I think I feel a little bored. I feel out of my element. I don't really know how to start and finish my day. It's a little different. And I'm sure a lot of people are feeling that way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to food in general, it's never about the food. It's about our feelings and why are we eating? Are we actually hungry? Many times we're actually not hungry. Like you said, you could be stressed, overwhelmed, sad, happy, all these different emotions. And I do firmly believe that no foods or food groups should be off limits, because when you do set yourself up for,
Deprivation.
feeling deprived, and then, oh, I ate it, I have no self-control, and then you feel like a failure. So much is tuning into what's going on in your thoughts, in your head. And I absolutely agree, Lisa, that a little bit of everything in moderation is definitely the way to go. So you're not fantasizing about the Girl Scout cookies when you're lying in bed at night.
Just have the serving of Girl Scout cookies. Well, I look forward to seeing you. It's going to happen.
I can't wait.
My goal is to get out there, when it's safe, when people are feeling kind of back into some sort of new normal or routine, and to just find, I think, the stories like yours, and I imagine we'll find more stories along the way to get to focus on, now when this passes, what have you been waiting to do? And are you going to go live your Don't Wait story? So I'm excited to share your story with everyone. I didn't tell them much about you today, other than you're a rock star nutrition and fitness guru. So I just look forward to sharing more of your story in the very near future.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for having me. And it's always so great to see your pretty face.
Oh, you
Stay
too.
safe.
Okay, you too. Bye. Hi, we're back. I'm Lisa Bradshaw. So earlier in the show, I wanted to bring, throughout this whole show, I want to bring a balance of what's happening around the world, and certainly having the Kindness Diaries host, Leon, on the show, I hope inspires you to watch on Netflix and get some good vibes going on in your household. And also having Bonnie from Boston giving you some tips about staying fit during this time. And now here comes the part of the show where I really want you to understand, not that you don't, but maybe take a look at the plight of others in a way that maybe you haven't thought about. And this is part of a story that I did during the Don't Wait Project tour last year when we traveled the southern states, and I met Ruby, who founded 3 Wishes for Ruby's Residents, and did that story in Arkansas. And now here I have via Zoom Ruby's mom, Amanda Chitsey, and she's coming to us via Zoom from her office. She works and is a provider for nursing home residents. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we've stayed in touch since meeting last year. I found Ruby's story on Facebook, and you and I were in touch to get the story during the tour. And it was really fun to meet all of you and meet the board. And for every adult board member of your nonprofit organization, there is a kid representing. And I got to meet all of those kids. So just thanks for staying in touch. I love following your posts and all the good work that's being done.
Same here. I love your program.
Thank you. So let's talk about a little bit, give a little history for our audience, for those of you who aren't familiar with Ruby's story. Amanda, if you would please just tell about why Ruby founded 3 Wishes for Ruby Residents.
Ruby founded 3 Wishes for Ruby's Residents when she was 11, because she has spent her life going with me to different long-term care centers in Arkansas. And kindness is really her hobby. And 2 summers ago, she noticed a resident who lost her dog because that resident only received $40 a month, and she couldn't afford the dog anymore. And Ruby was there the day that was going down, and it broke her heart. And from that encounter, Ruby began to ask all the residents at that nursing home, if I could bring you any 3 things, what would it be? My adult eyes said, my adult brain said, that's never going to work. They're going to give you some unreasonable answers. But she stuck with it, and she filled that journal up, and the answers were they still break me down as a human, because they did not ask for money or vacations or a handicap van, which I thought they would. They asked her for pants that fit. They hadn't had fast food in 5 years. It really showed me that these residents were lacking joy. And from that program, she did a GoFundMe, a local fundraiser, a national fundraiser, and she went on to raise over $300,000 for seniors.
And 5,000, if I recall, and she raised I mean, so much money, and the money still keeps coming in. And the one thing that I gleaned from Ruby when I met her was just how I don't think she expected it to do anything but get huge. You know, I don't think she's surprised by the kindness and the generosity of others trying to support these residents. Would you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I think some of the things surprised her, but as far as the kindness, no, she has a child's perspective. And I think that's what's so beautiful about our kid board is they constantly remind us adults that there's so much goodness and there's so much different ways to do things. So I think she expects people to be kind. She expects everyone to do what she does.
When we met last year, one of the things, I got to visit one of the nursing homes where you work and meet some of the residents and talk with them. Mm-hmm. I remember Ruby going around with little containers of watermelon and how excited people were. And you having this office that was just stuffed full of things that we take for granted, like chocolate and shampoo that works really well, that doesn't dry their hair, or lotion, or the one resident that I met who likes to color, and she now has markers and paper, and she has her drawings all over her room. I was just really amazed at the simplicity of the ask.
Yes, absolutely. It's all usually very simple. This week we handed out Vienna sausage and more coloring and entertainment. It's such a simple need to fulfill. They don't ask for much and they don't need much. They're just looking for those little things that make our lives better. You know, running out to get coffee, you know, you're craving French fries, you want a pizza, you want a soft taco from Taco Bell. They're just hard to get for them because they don't have transportation, they don't have family, they don't have money. But we're able to fulfill those simple needs, and it's just simply beautiful. It's easy, and it really changes their lives.
Well, that's remarkable. I want to talk about now. You posted a video, and you're right. You said in the post you try to keep things light and uplifting, and you posted a video with Marilyn, and she's the person I interviewed last year, and she was brought to tears. We're going to show that here. Let's just let the audience take a look.
Yep, I'm ready.
Hey, Sherry. Conned Amanda into bringing her cell phone down here so I could talk to you for a minute. I sure would like to see you. I miss you. Not too long. You can come peek in the back door at me if you want to. I love you.
She's lonely. And I hadn't thought about their loneliness until you posted that. And so that's why I wanted to share it with the audience, that people need to understand the plight of others.
30 days to them, which is what our restrictions are currently. I expect those to get a lot longer. 30 days is a lifetime when you're 80, because tomorrow is absolutely not promised to you. Today's a gift, and they live that way. And they're so afraid. They see the news, and they're so afraid they're going to get it, and they're so afraid they're going to go through that alone.
And just trying to let them know they're there. Their family's visiting through the window is amazing. Yeah. Just heartbreaking. I want to know, what can people do to lift their spirits? So there's nursing homes throughout the country. It doesn't have to be in Arkansas. We're reaching out to everyone throughout the country. Your kids are home. They're bored. They're wanting things to do. They could be coloring and pictures and writing letters and sending them to their local nursing homes. What kind of effect would that have on the people, just your residents specifically?
Oh, you have no idea. I mean, I handed out some homemade letters yesterday from Leo, our vice president, our kid vice president, and he had put a picture of himself on there with a cat. And the alert residents were so happy. And we took it and we put it on their door so they would always see it. We're doing anything we can for individual activities like Rubik's Cubes, the pegboards, paint by numbers, things that we can do to keep them busy and keep their minds off what's happening out there.
Since they can't do group activities.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And I just think you and Ruby and the whole board are just a light in the world that everyone needs to see. So thank you for sharing your story with me over and over again. And I'm one of your biggest fans. So anything I can do to ever help, I'm here for you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Say hi to Ruby for me.
I sure will.
If you'd like more information about 3 Wishes for Ruby's Residents, you can follow them on Facebook. If you would like to reach out to your local community, I'm sure that if you reach out to the local nursing homes, they would give you an address, a telephone number, anything you need to get more information about how to impact positively the elderly in our community. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for tuning in. I hope to bring you more and more good news, as well as what you can do in this time of difficulty in our community and throughout the world, on the show week after week, until we can all leave our homes and reach out to each other again beyond the internet. Thanks for watching.